And that's with no increase in people. And it's also without people working harder. Now, it is accompanied by a reduction in the work in progress, interestingly enough. You get more projects done by working on fewer projects at the same time. You can think of the work in progress as the number of projects that are working at any given time that have started but are not finished. And that actually has to go down in order to increase the flow rate and therefore the throughput. One of the big surprises, Goldratt didn't predict this, no one else in the critical chain field predicted it, and we were a little astonished back in the late 1990s when projects that measured this started coming back and saying, my quality defects have dropped by 50%, 80%, 90%. We were like, what? Because that was not expected. But now we know it happens all the time. At least 50% reduction in quality defects. And now we can explain why as well. That alone would be enough of a reason to do this. Consequently, project costs reduce. Because the time reduces and because the quality defects reduce, cost of projects goes down as well. Now that was not the original intent. That wasn't even a consideration. But because you reduce a bunch of the waste with this way of executing projects, it does in fact save some cost. But I hasten to add, don't use cost savings as your driving measure. That'll mess you up. It never works. In fact, that's one of the biggest failings, in my view, of other company improvement methods. They focus on saving cost. It's the wrong focus. What you got to focus on is getting done defect-free work. And if you do that, the cost will take care of itself. And we've certainly found that with critical chain. Now, the interesting final point is all of this happens with people saying it's easier now. My life is easier. I get more satisfaction out of working this way on projects. And what you're going to find is that the ultimate change is really quite simple, but it's hard for some people to do. I've tried on this slide, and I'm not going to go through all the detail on it, it's in your handout, to capture the range of projects and organizations that have now applied critical chain and lean project management. When I first started doing this in the early 1990s, or sorry, late 1990s, people could legitimately say, has someone just like us done this? You know, there's kind of an interesting dichotomy here. Everyone says, I want to be the leader in the industry, but before I try something, I want to know everybody else is doing it that way, that it works, right?